Hello, makers and crafters. This is Jenny. Today we're going to put some vinyl on pumpkins, and this has been the main programs I've been doing since I've been at the library, vinyl programs. So we're going to do a little intro to Vinyl 101, and then we're going to put some vinyl decals on pumpkins. So your craft bag will have some decals in it. I'll just open it up and show you. So this black sheet are your decals. You'll have to leave them, which I'll show you later. And then this is your transfer tape. And then this week, some instructions with words. I know last week we didn't have any words, but they're back. And just some extra pictures on the side. So there's different types of vinyl. Today we're using adhesive vinyl. There's also a heat transfer vinyl. So if you did the cord wrap craft bag, we used some heat transfer that you used in iron. This vinyl is just like a sticker, so you don't have to heat it up. You just put it on like a sticker, and you transfer it with the red grip transfer tape. And if you're interested in getting into vinyl crafting, you can always come to the library and ask me questions. We usually have a vinyl lab up and running, just not at this point during this whole COVID thing. A couple books I wanted to recommend too, if you do happen to come into the library. This is a brand new one. I've flipped through all of the projects in here and they're so cute. I love, there's like a koala cozy for your coffee cup that you can make. And then also Leah, I always mess up her name, Griffith is another excellent maker crafter. I love going to her blog. We have a couple copies of this book. She has some beautiful flowers in here and some crafts for your kids. And then at the beginning of the book, there's a link to get all of the cutouts for your machine at home to do. So those are two great books. Cricut Crafts. This one is on the new book alcove right now, and then also Cutting Machine Crafts. So those are awesome resources to have. So on to our decals. It looks a little confusing at first because we have to weed. So just like in your garden, weeding is taking out everything you don't want. There's some beautiful things in the center, and then around it, the negative space, if you're into art, we have to take out to actually see the design. So I'm going to weed the top one that says thankful. And some people use a little dental tool. If you're going to be doing this a lot, I would say invest in that little tool. If you have some bigger vinyl things that you're doing, and it's cut right, you can just use your fingernails to pop things out. You can see how this is just pulling off pretty easily upside down. So be very gentle and slow around the sharp corners, but you can just pull that off. I'm stuck on a little spot. And there we go. And then if it starts to stick in one area, you can just pause and press down that little part that's sticking. So got all that negative space off. And you might have a few centers that you just need to pop out too. So the center of this A, I'm just going to pop out. If you bend the background, it pops off pretty easily. So there's my little decal. And you can use scissors to cut it out a little bit more. It's easier to see once you need what you need to cut. And there's all kinds of really cute designs on this. They're all really simple designs. I didn't want to do anything too complicated, especially if it's your first time doing a vinyl craft. And in all my programs, I always say, if you mess up, we can recut. So if you guys mess up and really need another one, just feel free to stop in the library and pick up another cutout. So now we have the decal. Instead of taking it off piece by piece and putting it on our pumpkin, I'm going to use this pumpkin. We're going to use transfer paper. So this side is clear so you can see through it, and you can just cut off what you need and peel back so you have kind of like it's kind of like contact paper. So you have a sticky side and the non-sticky side. You want sticky side down on top of your design. There we are. And then we also burnish it. So if you have like an old gift card or a credit card at home, you can just rub it down really good. Sometimes I use whatever I have around me, so your fingernails can work too. Or if you have something with a firm edge, you can use that. And we have 3 layers. We have the top transfer paper, we have our decal, and then we have the backing, the white backing. So what we're going to do is take that backing off. A lot of people do it different ways, but I like to put the vinyl sticker upside down and then peel the backing off. So you're just peeling off one thing. If you do it the other way, you're trying to peel off 2 things, and sometimes it can get a little tricky. So I'll lay that flat, and then you just peel off that backing. And sometimes this takes a little bit of patience too, especially if you've never done it before. So it looks like it's going pretty well. And if it starts healing up, you can just press that back down onto the transfer paper. I did not burnish it very well today, so that's why it's sticking a little bit more. And sometimes those thinner designs don't stay down as well. Almost done. And we did it. Yay, can you see that? There's my blue background. Okay, so a little trick for rounded shapes that you're putting vinyl on. I saw someone else tear that backing in half, and then you can put it back on your design. So I just tore the backing in half and put it back on, and I left a little bit of space in the middle. For rounded shapes, it's easier to start in the middle and then work your way out. Because sometimes when it's rounded, once you put it on, it can either curve up or curve down. And I know for especially conical shapes like coffee mugs, tumblers, things like that, sometimes you think you have it on straight, or you start at the beginning and it looks straight, and then the further you go, the more curved it can get. I've made that mistake before. So there's just a nice little space in the middle that we're going to start out with. And we're going to press it down pretty firm And this is another part where if you have like an old gift card, credit card, you can press it down even more or rub it down. I'm just using my fingernails again. And then I'm going to take off part of that transfer paper again. And now I'm going to rub down this side. And with the transfer paper, it probably won't look perfect, but once you take it off too, you can mess around with some of the letters. And then I'll take off the ends and rub it down. There's a few little crevices that I really want to get down into. Make sure that vinyl's sticking really well before I take the transfer paper off. And again, if it's sticking to the transfer paper, you can just rub it down again. Looking good. Hooray! That looks so good. And then another little trick is if there are bubbles that you can't get out, you can use a blow dryer on low heat and it'll just pop those bubbles right out, or it will help you take it off and then you can like stick it back on wherever you need to. So yeah, with a curved surface, it's not going to be perfect, but it still looks good. And then I'll see what else I have on here. Do a little heart. Some of these you can just pick off and put on, like the little heart. And sometimes I get a little bit too confident and think, oh, I can just stick this on without transfer paper. And sometimes it doesn't always end up that way. Sometimes I end up with a crumbled mess like this again. So you can reuse your transfer paper. I have reused these, I think on average up to 5 to 6 times. So once you transfer a design, don't throw this away right away because you have a lot of other goodies you can put on your pumpkin or on other things. So like there's a little leaf here. If it doesn't end up on your pumpkin, if you have like a picture frame or something like that, you can pop that on or whatever you want. So just put a little leaf right here. So cute. And let's do one more. I'm gonna weed my leaf design, another leaf design. Use my transfer paper again. Cut it out too. Reusing that transfer paper. Rubbing it down. And now we're lifting that backing up. Got something else on there. Beautiful, and now we can just place it on the pumpkin. I'm gonna do right down here, and then rub it on again. And there you go. You also have Hey Pumpkin in the kit too. And we would love to see your designs. If you are making pumpkins with your family or just for fun, or use the decals for something else, let us know and post it under our video on Facebook. And our next craft bag coming up in November will be beeswax wraps, so stay tuned for those, and happy crafting. See you guys later.